does this diagram hold on one second. Hold on. T. And they told us, yeah. BD bisects angle CBD. And they want us to prove angle ABD is congruent to angle FBD. So we started this yesterday. We said we're going to start with statements. We're going to do a 2-column proof. Did we talk about paragraph proofs yesterday? Did we talk about paragraph proofs yesterday?
Yeah.
If we didn't, huh? No? Okay, so we'll talk about paragraph proofs. Let's make sure I review that with you. All right, so what's the first thing we said we start with when we have proofs? What's the first thing we always start with? The given. So what are we going to write right away? Perfect. Yes. BD bisects angle CBE. Perfect. What's the reason for that? You. So we can't just make statements without having proof. Gotcha. All right, now what's something we can say because we know that BD, so let's build off of that. Like, you literally have to pretend like this person is the dumbest person you've ever met. Maybe you need to pretend like you're talking to yourself, you know? I don't know. Whatever you need to do. Maybe it's your sister. Don't tell her I said that. Right? What are you going to do? When you say BD bisects it, that's all that statement says. You have to tell me more. What does that mean? Since this bisects this, what does that make you now know? What else can you tell me? What is? CBD, this CBD is what? Congruent to EBE. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, does this statement, does that state that? Does it state that? No, but because of that reason, can you say that those two are the same? So you can't, so what I mean by that is you can't assume that when you say that this bisects it, you can't assume that they know these two are equal. You have to go, okay, since that bisects it, you go, okay, that means that CBD is the same as EBD. Do you follow? If you are pretending like they don't know anything, so you're laying it completely out for them. So CBD is congruent to angle, and we'll call it EBD. Doesn't matter. EBD. Why doesn't it matter? Because what did we say? You can name this angle the same DBE or EBD. We said, right? No, it's okay. I want to, that's something we need to make sure we know. Does that make sense? Why is that? What's the reason for that? Why can we state that to be true? Definition of a bisector. I think we had this down yesterday, right? Good. What can we do next? we can say that angle ABC. Well, let's talk about, we did this yesterday, but I want to make sure we understand this. Let's look at our goal. Our goal is to say that this angle right here is the same as this angle right here. So before we write stuff, let's talk. What is angle ABD? Brody, what is it made up of? You guys got to get off those freaking phones. Put your phone in your backpack. Yes, does that make sense? ABD is made up of ABC and CBD. Follow me. Yeah? I got your attention finally. What is angle FBD made up of? FBD. What is it made up of? What is it? No, DB and F would be the same angle, but what is it made up of? Not CBD. So I'm talking about this angle. I'm talking about the green one. It's made up of DBE or you could say it as EBD. That's fine. And FBE or EBF. Those together make up FBD. Does that make sense? Well, why does that help me? What have I already shown on two of those angles? What have I already shown? Is CBD part of ABD? Do you follow me? And isn't DBE part of FBD? And what have I shown about CBD and EBD? What have I just said? So haven't I already shown that parts of both angles are congruent? Do you follow me? So what would be the next step that could help me out? What if this was congruent to this down here? What if those were congruent? What if they were? Why would that help me? Because we'll call this angle 1 and this angle 2. Do you follow me? Isn't this angle the same as angle 1 and isn't this the same as angle 2? You get what I mean by that? So why can I say that those two angles are the same actually? Why can I say that angle ABC is congruent to FBE? Yeah. Angle ABC, because they're vertical, is congruent to angle FBE. And the reason why is because vertical angles. Number 4. What else can we say about these angles? What did I just say about ABD? What did I say about ABD? What's it made up of? Brody, you answer the question. Please put your phone away. If I need to take a call, I can do it. What is ABD made up of? So can I say angle ABC plus angle what? Angle CBD is equal to angle what? ABD. Why can I say that? Nope, nope, nope. My reasons why are always vocab words. What allows us to add angles together? I gave you a name for it. No, close. Addition property of equality means if I add something to one side, I add it to the other. This was actually something we did maybe 2 chapters ago. Close. Thank you. This is called the angle addition postulate. Why did I say that your vocab is so important? What is every one of these reasons why? A vocabulary word that we've talked about in this class. Does that make sense? Okay, what else can I say? What other angle can we add up that we know? Go, Hunter, what were you going to say? FBE, good. Angle FBE plus angle EBD is equal to angle what? FBD. And what's the reason we can say that? What is it again? Come on. Everyone should say this one. Why can we say that? Good. Angle addition postulate. Now watch this. This gets a little tricky. Do you see how I've made some stuff like up here? These are my truths. You follow me with that? They have to be true. So what did I say about CBD? It's equal to what? So I'm going to highlight this. You see this in green. Well, whatever I see in green, I can replace with yellow. Do you follow me? Whatever I see in blue, because I've established that they're equal, I can replace with purple. Do you follow me? Yes? Okay. Do you see this one right here, where it says that right there? What can I replace that with if I wanted to? That's what we said, correct? Because they're two equal. Oops, that's not what I meant. What color did I mean to make that? Blue. I have to make it blue. Because I see this one right here, what can I replace that with? No. You see ABC right here. What is it equal to? So I can take this out, and I could put that in its place. Does everybody understand? Okay. What can I replace this one with? What can I replace that one with? Do you follow me? So right now, I'm going to write this as, I'm going to write the same number 4, except I'm going to change the stuff that's in blue. So I'm going to take it, and it's going to become not ABC, but what am I going to make it? Instead of ABC, I'm going to write it as FBE plus, instead of CBD, what am I going to write in its place? EBD. And what is it equal to? Good. Did I change the ending? No. Did I change the ending? Does that make sense? What is that called when I do that? Not yet. Good try. If I go to Outback and I ask, they say, you want a potato, and I say, no, I don't want a potato. I want broccoli instead. What is that called? Substitution. Look, I took this out, and what did I put? Something that was equal value in its place. I took this out. What did I put? Something that was equal in its place. Do you see? I wrote number 4 exactly the same way as number 4, except I replaced these things with what they were equal for. That is called substitution. What's your question? Does that make sense? Finally, what was the whole goal of this thing? What was the goal? What was the final thing I wanted to prove?
Prove that angle ABD is equal to angle FBD.
Okay, right here. What does FBD, what is it equal to? Isn't it FBE? Wait, whoa. What's right here? Angle FBE, right? What is this? Angle what? The angle, that's the angle EBD, and this is angle EBD. Aren't these two the same things? So this says this equals angle FBD. This says it equals angle what? So instead of writing this right down here, or I guess we normally want to write it, we try to write it this way. We try to write it the way they gave us. So instead of writing this, do you see how this is the same as that? So I could take that out, And what could I put in its place because it's equal to it? So I can write ABD, whoops, is equal to angle FBD. This is the final substitution. I took this out and I put this in its place. Why? Because wherever two things are equal, you can do a substitution. So number 7, what would be my reason why? Substitution. Okay, just keep watching. We'll see what we can get. Yes. Sure.
Not because I don't remember some of it.
And yesterday we covered some of it, so watch the video from yesterday.
Alright, thank you.
Okay.
Let me go actually make sure I can find it.
All right. Next, we need to establish. So that was that one. Now we need to establish some more. Oh, let me go back. If someone asked me to write this as a paragraph proof, listen. Do the same thing you're going to do here. Personally, the way, whenever they asked me and I took geometry and they said write a paragraph proof, guess what I first came up with? Guess what I first came up with? My 2-column proof. And then what do you think I did with my 2-column proof? I just made it a. So like right here, I would say, first, we know that BD bisects angle CBE because it was given. Then that means that angle CBD is congruent to EBD because of the definition of definition of bisectors. Angle ABC is then equal to angle FBE because they are vertical angles. Like you're literally just taking this and turning it into a sentence. That is called a paragraph proof. So what do I always do to get a paragraph proof done? What do I first do? I do a 2-column proof, and then I change it to a paragraph. Does that make sense? All right, this is called the all right angles theorem. It's very simple. All right angles are congruent. That is called the all right angles theorem. That makes sense because what are they all equal to?
90 degrees.
Yes, ma'am. When he gets back. So that's the all right angles theorem. These, did you notice how I didn't star that one? Remember how I told you which ones are really important? That one, it's pretty good. All right. If angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, this is a different theorem. And the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. What can you tell me about the measure of angle 1 and 2? What do they have to be then? Think about it. 1 and 2 are the same. They both add up to be 180. What? No. No. Think. 1 and 2 are the same. 1 and 2 add up to 180. What does that mean they both have to be? They both have to be 90 degrees. So that means that angle 1 and angle 2 are right angles. They're calling that theorem. I don't know why I just took so long to do that. Theorem 1-5. That's the name of that one, theorem 1-5. Finally, the one that I tell you need to start is called linear pairs. Remember yesterday I told you I was going to get you a better name for two angles that are on the same line that add to 180? So linear pairs theorem. This says if Angle 1 and angle 2 are linear pairs. All right, linear pair. Yeah, and if angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair, then the measure of angle 1 plus, that's plus, the measure of angle 2 equals 180. So basically it looks like this. 1 and 2 are a linear pair because together they make a straight angle. A straight angle is 180 degrees, it's a line. So remember when we talked about supplementary angles? And I told you, yes, these guys are supplementary, but I'll give you a better name for them tomorrow. What is the better name of these two? They are called a linear pair. What are these guys called if they add up to 180 degrees? What are these guys called? What is this angle and this angle called if they add up to 180 degrees? They are called supplementary. How come they're not a linear pair? They're not on the same what? There's a difference. Does that make sense? Linear pairs are supplementary. Not all supplementary angles are a linear pair. Can I give them one? Can you wait 1 second? All right, try this one on your own. See what you can start coming up with. All right, so given try to start that proof. See how far you can get. Guess what? I'm frustrated with almost everyone I've already seen. What's the first thing that every one of you should, if I say just start this, every one of you should be able to start this. What should you have written? Hey, I don't even see this on your freaking papers. You guys are so afraid of starting crap. I don't even see this on your papers. Come on. Start trying something on your own. Grow up. It's okay if you do it wrong. You know what it's not okay? To just sit there. That's where I'm going to get frustrated. Start. Everybody, did we talk about proofs writing like this? So did everybody have written this on your paper? Have we talked about that? Is there anything that I can't, is this too hard for anyone in this class for me to expect that out of you? Does that make sense? On the 5, 6, 7 people I just walked by, no one even had that started. What else should I be able to expect that's on your paper? too hard for anyone to remember? We said, what do we always start with? Is that math even? Or is that just kind of following directions, being able to do this? You know what I mean by that?
Following directions.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, put in effort. This one?
Yes.
75. What should be the second thing that you put down?
And equal and 2 equals 75.
Oh,
Wait, no, sorry, over.
25.
Which one? Measure of angle what?
Equal 2.
Not 2.
I know, but if
You gotta prove everything. So in your
I already wrote down that angle 1.
right, so then in your next statement, you have to remember, you have to pretend like this person is super dumb. You can't make any jumps. So here's what I mean. Here's what you're missing. I understand what you're saying. Here's what you're missing. What did I say we always start with? All of the givens. So measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle, and that is given. Sometimes some textbooks and some people will even put this, they'll put them both together. I like to make it look like I did more. So I make its own little separate thing. So then you also know that the measure of angle 1 is equal to what? And why do we know that? Do you see what I was saying to you now, Brody? Now you can make the jump. Because 1 equals 2, and because we've established that 1 is 105, you can tell me the measure of angle 2 is equal to, and what is that reason? Why can you say that? Nope. Nope. You can do the transitive property or substitution. Either of those two I would accept. If you want to know why this is, and we got to start seeing this faster, if you want to know why we can do this, remember it's A equals B, B equals C, A equals C. Do you follow me? Will this be A and B? No, it might be Alexa, Alexis. Remember? Is, no, is a girl. This is how that girl remembered it, right? And then we said girls are stupid, which is not true, not at all. And then that means that Alexis is stupid. Was the A? So look, was A, or was it a name of someone? Was B, or was it like a something?
Pronoun.
Yeah, pronoun. And like I said, I did this with the girl because she was having a hard time and we were just messing around. She completely knew I was just kidding. But it helps her remember, right? So look right here. What is my A in this one? Because this one doesn't go so straightforward. What is my A in this one? 1 is my A, yes? Measure of angle 1. What is my B in this one? Measure of angle 2, right? And then what's down here? So I'm saying A equals B, and really what am I saying? A equals C, what am I saying down here? Then B equals C. Is that still the transitive property? Yes. Because technically, what could I do to this 1 and 2? Does it have to be measure of 1 equals measure of angle 2? Or could I do measure of angle 2 equals measure of angle 1? Can I switch these?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it's the addition property. You can go ahead. Measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 1. Now, if I did it like that, do you see how it's A equals B, and then B equaling C, and then A equals C? Do you follow me? Like, so that's why it can be done. So it can be transitive. It could also be substitution. I would accept either. All right, how are we doing so far? Good? What's the whole point? What are we trying to prove? We're trying to prove something about angle 3, right? Okay, now we know something about angle 2. We know angle 2 is 105. What can we say about angle 2 and angle 3? Angle 2 and angle 3 are what? Are a linear pair. And the reason we can say that is because that's the definition of a linear pair. Yes.
So if angle 1 and angle 2 are the same, right? Wouldn't they just be parallel, and then we can figure out what 3 is from there? Since it's a line.
What?
So every line equals 180, correct?
Yep.
So 105 plus 7. Well, we have to prove that it's
Right, we can't make. You're trying to do logic. We can't. We have to. So watch the way that I'm. You watch the way that I'm doing this build up, because it's gonna drive you crazy.
Why is this? Doesn't make any sense.
It does.
I mean, it makes sense.
It's every bit of what you do in algebra. Like in math, you don't just do stuff because you feel like it. You do something because there's something that gives you the ability to do that.
Why are we having
Hey,
this stuff? Not
We're
every
using sparingly.
I know, but there's no point of this.
You're never listening.
Never.
Geometry is going to become useful if you're in a construction worker.
Did we already talk about this?
No.
We didn't. We didn't talk about how many times have you seen a football player walking down the football field with a barbell? Didn't we talk about that? Didn't we talk about that scenario? You can't. When you give something, you have to give a reason why you're doing it. That's logic. No, you're correct. This is not the one way. This is the way that I'm showing you, but there is not one way. That's why when I grade proofs, you are correct. I have to look at your logic and see whether it makes sense or not. But the one thing is, you must always establish your truth before it. You can't just say, like, you remember how you wanted to jump to the measure of angle 2 equals the measure of, or just the measure of angle 2 equals 105? Do you remember how you wanted to jump to that? No, it wasn't. Measure of angle 1 was equal to 105. And you were saying, well, because I know 1 and 2 are the same, that means that it has to be 105. But I'm saying you have to lay that out for that person. All right, so 5. Because they're a linear pair, what does that tell me about the measure? The measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3, what do those have to add up to? And what is the reason for that? Linear pair. Number 6, because we know that, what else can we say? Do we have anything up here that we've established? No, we haven't said anything about parallel. We haven't said anything about parallel. We haven't talked about them being parallel at all. We will do that later. What have we said about measure of angle 2? Look up here. What have we said about measure of angle 2? So instead of measure of angle 2, we can put 105 plus the measure of angle 3 equals 180. What allowed us to do that? When we have something and we take it out and put something else in its place. Substitution. Now, what allows me to do this? You're going to have to read between the lines. How did they go from 6 to 7? What did they do? What's missing on the left side? What's missing on the left? If I go from here to here, what's missing? The 105, yes? And if I minus the 105 from this side, what do I have to do to the other side? And so what is that called? When you do it to one side, you do it to the other. Subtraction property of equality. And do you see how my final thing down here is exactly what they asked me to prove? You see my final statement is exactly the same thing as what they asked me to prove. That's how you know you're finished. You will have homework, and then we will practice this tonight, tomorrow some more, but we do it some cahoots. So we're going to practice it.